seen before, rolling down the road. You know, I don't even know the real purpose of this video, but it is Saturday. Don't know what I'm going to title this video, but it's kind of just time with Mike and Ray, because I don't know if people understand this, but I don't get to spend very much time with you. You're on the road, and I'm in the shop, and well, we just don't have time to catch up on things. And the thing I've been having the most trouble catching up with recently is responding to comments on YouTube. They're just coming from everywhere, and I keep telling people how much I appreciate it, and now I'm getting a little bit overwhelmed with them, and I want to try to respond to everybody, and it's kind of difficult to do, Ray. But I think we're gonna entitle this video "RareCoolItems Says, when you and Ray talk is the best part of the video!" Triple exclamation point. It makes it more personal.
Yeah.
So
it's real life.
Yeah. You know,
work is work.
I've been keeping score, Ray. I split the videos up when we did Nick's Game Room.
Yeah.
I split it into two pieces. The first piece is you and me riding down the road talking about Blark. And whatever else it is we talked about.
Next time I see her, I want to ask her.
Okay, yeah, good. Good luck with that.
She won't care about me because I'm 3 times her age.
She looks at you and me the same, Ray. Well, that's not true, but
old is old, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man. See, you know what? All I gotta say to anybody is, it's all the same.
Yeah, it's coming for you.
It's all the same.
Guess what, Melanie? It's coming for you.
There's just a different state.
Gray hair, it's coming. But at any rate, I split the video into us babbling, and part 2 is the actual tour of the game room.
Okay.
And well, the actual tour of the game room is outperforming the blabber by 2 to 1.
Okay.
But you know, so what? Some people are actually Rare Cool, best part of the video. So as long as we're doing this for Rare Cool, that dude, he's all right.
Well, maybe he travels a lot and he needs something interesting to watch.
I don't know. He's like Kevin. He wants to hang out with us.
You know, that's the popularity of Spooky Pinball, a podcast thing. It's so long and they just chatter about stuff. Some of it ain't really pinball related, and
I don't know.
That guy has a voice to where people like to listen, and I've had comments from some of my customers. Whatchamacallit in particular, Keith. He said, I just listen to him when I travel.
Yeah, he's on the train or whatever. He listens to that. Yeah, he does.
Anyway,
Spooky Pinball. We don't even need to talk about Spooky Pinball right now. I'm not mad at him or anything, but yeah, that video they did for their America's Most Haunted, I got mixed feelings about that, but it was funny. So all right, well,
respond to pick up machines, Mike.
Yeah, well, that's why we're together. We're gonna tag team. We're picking up a couple of pins.
One of my customers needs to get rid of some machines for whatever, and they call me, and we're going to get them.
Okay, well, it's not a long trip, so this is not going to be a long video. But I just want to use this time, if we can, to just follow up on some of these comments. Like I was telling you back in the shop, I'm a little embarrassed that I dropped the ball. I had a question on one of the comments, or one of our YouTube videos from 2 weeks ago, and I never followed up with the guy, and now I feel like a jerk. So this is a shout out to Ronald Black. If you're still watching, I hope you're still with us, Ron. You asked the question, have you ever done a Playmatic game? I have one that I can't seem to fix. Boards look great and clean, but it's all Spanish to me. And then he followed up. I asked him what it was, and he said it's a Playmatic Big Town 1979. Playfield and back glass are perfect. I'm sure there are very few left in existence. What's your thoughts and experience on that, Ray?
I've never done anything with Playmatic pinball machines. fact, I'm not even sure how many they made, what models, and I don't know if it's the same as some of the other Ford brands like Sonic or I guess Allied would be independent from it. So I don't know what to really comment about it.
Yeah.
I wonder who made Sharpshooter. I've seen those before. And Devil Riders or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Well, you know, you're experienced with what you're called to service. And if you don't see something, well, then you don't have experience with it.
Well, I can tell you one thing about those. There's very little support as far as parts.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't know, a year or two back, Ray, I guess 2 or 3 years back, I was so impressed with your ability to fix shit that, you know, I thought you were unbeatable. And I came across that Dynamite. Remember the Dynamite? Yeah. It was a similar situation there. The pin was in great condition. The back glass was nice. The cabinet was in great shape. The playfield was in great shape. The thing was nice, and it for the most part worked. It about 80% worked.
Well, yeah, but the longevity of it 80% working is probably none.
Yeah, well, if you look,
failure comes when you use something. Yeah, the problem with those early electronic games, the late 70s games, the electronics design and thought was awkward, and it's,
yeah,
if you look at the display board on those things, which is what was failing on some of it, what a complicated board. It had too much for what it was supposed to do. They didn't use integrated circuits because they didn't have knowledge, or they didn't, it wasn't even around back then. You got to remember, electronics just showed up in the late 70s.
Yeah, and Pin LED is to this day not supporting a 5-digit display.
Most industry digital electronics, solid state stuff was just showing up in the 70s. And I'm talking mid to late 70s in any industry except maybe aerospace and medical, you know, which was very guarded, you know, but, you know, most of your consumer industries like gaming, casinos, slot machines, anything video.
They were experimenting.
Office equipment, yeah, most of that stuff was just showing up, and it was just elaborate. It took so much of a circuit, transistors. All an integrated circuit actually is a bunch of diodes and transistors, and it's in a small package. But one little 24-pin integrated circuit can replace hundreds of transistors. You can imagine the mass it takes up. So those early pins like that, if you look at them, there's so much in there, and just to try to repair and maintain it and just get it working, it's just not even worth.
Yeah, and that's the real answer, and that's the answer I came up with on our Dynamite.
Yeah.
I passed it along, and this is what I'm going to suggest to you, Ron, as far as an evaluation of what you're talking about. I know you're looking at it and you're thinking, wow, this can be done, and the answer is yes, it can be done. You know, we really haven't encountered anything at this point, Ray, that we haven't been able to fix. But do you want to invest 200 hours worth of research and development into fixing the piece that you're looking at?
Well, here's the analogy of it all. You wouldn't go to a car dealer to repair or restore an old car. They don't want that business. It's not practical. Now, if you're doing it as a hobbyist or on a small scale, but not for business, just a personal thing, yeah, it has some practicality, but from a business standpoint, nobody's going to want to do it because it's a loss.
Yeah.
And I don't care how big of an operation you got or what kind of resources you have, it will be a loss. So yeah, it's going to be hard to find some off mainstream to fix something like that.
Yeah, I mean, but to answer your question, yes, it can be done, but you may find yourself spending 1,000 hours worth of research to find a problem on a game that's really, you know, what's it worth when you get it fixed. And then, of course, the follow-up to that is when you get it fixed, when and where is the next failure that you're going to be back in the same boat. So,
you know, does it do much more than an old EM? Probably not.
No.
So my thought is I can fix an old EM, or most anybody, well, that fixes EM. Most anybody that fixes games and are interested in EMs can fix EMs. So what's that say? That says the solid state stuff in its early years was very awkward and not worth really dealing with, period. Whereas your EM games, you can fix those things. You still can fix those things. As they got more elaborate, you know, electronic machines surpassed anything an EM could do. Now you've got to change over, but it also was an interim state, you know, between the two. You know, late 70s, early 80s games is when they finally figured it out, early 80s stuff. And then they're reproducing boards.
Well, yeah, the major difference is if you've got a mainstream Bally, Williams, Gottlieb game, there's aftermarket support for it.
Yeah.
The oddball stuff, well, you're going to be kind of on your own, and you know, find all the experts in the world. You ask Ray, and Ray, you know, we don't know. Although a resource for that would be well, who's that guy? John's Jukes. John's, do you know who I'm talking about?
Canada, yeah.
Yeah, he has some experience with that oddball stuff, so that, I guess that would be who I would refer you to ask maybe the same question.
Right.
And other than that, I'm done with that topic of discussion with an apology for taking so long to get to it.
I got to tell you why he has experience. He used to be a route operator, from what I understand from Mark Rosso, in Canada. And I guess there was a network of the route people up there, and they all communicated with each other, and they were quite large. He has parts that are brand new for this stuff.
Oh yeah, he's still got brand new machines. At least he did recently, not too long ago. He still had everything new in the box. That stuff.
So his answer to some of this stuff I could see is just exchanging it with something known good work.
Yeah,
as far as repairing it goes.
Guess what? The parts aren't cheap either. They're expensive.
And I've tried using the repair stuff, and he will often send me new stuff, not what I sent. He was doing a repair for me for what the heck was it? A nutting? Remember that thing, that shark game?
Oh,
shark?
Yeah.
Fiberglass that made by nutting. It was a video game. Shark.
Yeah, whatever it was. It was a big shark. You have a picture of that?
Yeah.
Okay, email me that, would you?
And I also have pictures of that green thing I did for Mark, that two-player Pong thing.
Oh, yeah, space...
or space thing.
the nutting, whatever, everybody knows what that thing is.
Yeah, they were all very old things. But I dealt with him with that and with some other stuff. What the heck is that thing smoking? Gonna make Delaware money.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, back to the reasons to restore. You were talking about you know, cost of effort worth versus what you're left with at the end. You know, when we were just talking about the Playmatic. You know, if you want to do it, fine as a hobbyist. If you want to do it as a business, forget it. You know where I'm going with this, Ray. We're back on the taxi again.
Taxi.
Comments on the taxi. Our good friend Flesh Wound. By the way, did you figure out the Flesh Wound reference yet? I did pretty early, and I asked him, and he confirmed it. You know what Flesh Wound is from, don't you?
No.
Yes, you do.
Do I want to know?
Sure.
1.9 miles and turn left.
Okay, well, go ahead.
Monty Python.
Oh, yeah, okay, good.
Holy Grail.
That's good, yeah, that's an oldie.
Yeah, the night with that's just a flesh wound. I'll bite your knee off or whatever. Yeah, that's pretty funny stuff.
That's his arm's length.
It's just a flesh wound.
Come here, I'll bite you.
So, yeah, I thought that was the root of the joke, and it is.
I was watching The Meaning of Life the other night, Mike. That was funny.
Okay.
Oh, God.
So, at any rate, he says, Hi guys, in your opinion, do you think the existing playfield has enough life left in it to warrant a shop job versus a swap? Or is the playfield too tired? Talking about the taxi.
I got it.
Yeah. Wow, we could spend an hour, we could spend 5 hours talking about that, couldn't we? It depends. Now, my opinion is, it depends on what you want. You know, if I was running an arcade, or if I just had a personal, if I was putting it into Jimmy's collection, pins that get played regularly. I mean, Jim plays the crap out of his pins. And he's been, you know, kind of morphing it into a higher quality of stuff, but he plays his pins. If you wanted a taxi that you were just going to play the piss out of, it's not that bad, Ray. The playfield that's in it, it's not spent.
No, it isn't.
A tune-up, you know, make sure everything's tight on the playfield with new rubbers, fix that issue with the ramp clearance problem. You know, obviously find all the problems it has, like with that drop target bank falling apart, and the flipper overhaul, replace all that stuff.
Turn left.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with that. I think the playfield swap in this case, you know, specifically with that pin as it sits, yeah, it's a little bit silly. But again, it depends on what you're looking for. You know, if you're looking for, hey, it's a Maryland taxi, and I want it to look absolutely superb, stupendous. I'm in a multi-million-dollar house, and I want that thing to fit in with the decor. Yeah, it's a good candidate for that. You're looking for a pin to play, it's a good candidate for that too. Just clean it up, fix it, and move on. That's where I'm at, Ray. You got anything to add to that? You probably don't, because I think I'm right.
Well, so what's the vote on it?
The vote's all over the place.
I don't really have an opinion on it.
The vote's all over the place.
I'll do what somebody wants.
Right.
As far as interrogating what logic there is out of it, I don't have any opinion on it.
Here's the votes, Ray. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. GOUGHS 41. Goes 41. Hope we can see this swap happen. I also am going to do a swap on my taxi in the near future. Well, okay, so he's voting for the swap because he wants to see it, so we can do it. Any tips I can learn from you guys will be much appreciated. I think I have a good idea how I want to attack it, but seeing another angle on it will be helpful. No matter how much you think you know about something, someone may have a better, faster way of doing something. Amen to that. Keep up the good work on the videos. They're an awesome thing you guys are doing for the pinball community. So thank you for the long hours you put into them. You're welcome. Thank you. Would love to see them all on a DVD one of these days. Thanks again, and looking forward to the next video. Yeah, Ray, I'm going to put all our tech vids on a DVD and sell about 5 copies of them. I might actually do that. CNK, Chris at CNK Tube, Ray. CNK YouTube, we just shouted out to him. Thanks, Ray and Mike. I don't get it. That new playfield was a lot of money, I'm sure. Customers should just do the entire rebuild and do it right. It is the only way to go. But can it be done by Christmas?
What's Christmas?
Yeah. Picking you as restores was the first smart move. Now do the right thing. Yes, do the coin door lock bar works. That's as far as the vids. Need to learn some more pro tricks. I thought Mike was going to say Arsenio Hall. You guys don't remember the TV remotes with tuning forks, do you? On, off, up, down. TV remotes with tuning forks. I know you remember. Yeah,
I had one.
But there's a vote.
Seriously.
Customers should do the entire rebuild and do it right.
The clicker, it was a remote.
Yeah, I know. I've seen them. Another one I don't know how to pronounce.
I took it apart.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. JHANRA6. Genre 6. Good video, guys. I really hope the owner of this game decides to do what this pin needs. If you spend the cash on a new playfield, you just gotta go all the way. Okay. Are you getting a feel for the votes here, Ray?
Yeah, well, my own opinion of it is, knowing what he has as a collection and what he would probably do with this, it would save him from wasting time and money which he's already spent.
Right. Well, that's another issue, Ray.
Do the whole repair.
It's a double labor thing. You know, you talk about, okay, well, I'll do the playfield now and do the cabinet later. No, because you know the playfield's going to be out of the machine. Do you want to throw an extra hour to take the playfield back out of the machine to do the cabinet and have downtime on the machine? No, do it while you're at it. You feel me, player?
Yeah, I'm going down this way. I ain't going down to Colchester. I don't care what this thing says.
The definition, the ghost quarter. The definition of blark is blarking stupid. Natural progression. When you sum up all of the Tech Tip series, you're going to love this one, right? You should start doing videos of the machines you're actually working on as you start them.
Right.
It will be like a video tour attesting to all of the work done on your machines as you progress. There is your long-term plan, fellas. We could do that on the taxi, Ray. Okay. Tech Tip Series 1, line cord. Tech Tip Series 2, I don't remember, what did we do second? The only one that doesn't apply would be T-molding. We could just review all of the Tech Tip Series on one machine, start to finish. Love the idea. I'm going to have to hire some volunteers to make that happen, Ray. I don't know. It is the right idea. I don't see that happening. Oh boy. Pin biohazard. Hi, I know it's not to do with the playfield, but what is the best way to recoat a pinball apron and the lockdown bar bit, the rusty stuff? Well, what do you do with the rusty lockdown bar stuff, Ray?
Recalculating.
Rusty lockdown bar.
Yeah, the receiver stuff. I don't know. I think we'll cover that as part of a Tech Tip thing. We'll show the blast and paint thing of that. That's pretty straightforward.
Right.
All right, that's it, Ray. I think we're almost there. I'm feeling slightly up to date on responding to comments. The only other thing I want to do, Ray, I want to.
Drive 1.6 miles and turn left.
I want you to not get in an accident, for starters. You called me up last night, Ray, and you were on your way home from a service call. Where were you? You were in Allentown, I think, maybe?
Yeah, Allentown, downtown.
You were up in Allentown. And you shared with me, it was a really entertaining rant, and I would love for you to try to recreate what you told me on the phone. So,
oh my.
So if we can recreate that conversation, I don't know. I'll try to bring you back to where you were. Are you ready? 8-Ball Deluxe.
Yeah. The guy has 4 machines. He's a doctor. He wanted the 8-Ball Deluxe machine because it's one he remembered playing mostly and liked it more than most other machines. So
right.
He went and looked for one.
All right, pause, Ray.
Pause.
I need you to give me all of the same excitement and vigor that you put into the cut. No, you're not tired. It's noon, man. I don't want to hear that excuse.
You should have recorded it last night.
Well, you know, I'm sitting at home. I didn't. How am I going to do that?
Well,
so don't worry about the expletives. I can bleep them out, Ray. So carry on.
Well, I go there once a year, usually, for about the last 15 years. He was a Gameroom warehouse customer, and he ended up buying 4 machines, all from Gameroom warehouse. And when I go there, I just check them out and tune them up and fix anything that breaks. They get relatively low play. He has kids, but he likes his machines. He's a doctor, surgeon, so I guess he plays those to take some stress off of a day or something. But anyway, I start at the left on the Twilight Zone, and then I work my way to the right. And the next one in line is Medieval Madness, and then there's an 8-Ball Deluxe, and then Monster Bash. And when he comes down and checks on me, he works home Fridays doing paperwork half a day, and he comes down and he's asking me how it's going, and I said, yeah, well, the Medieval had more problems than Twilight Zone so far. So then I get to the 8-Ball Deluxe, and it hardly has nothing go. I didn't even do anything to it. I pulled the glass, wiped the playfield off, and I changed batteries.
Turn left.
And everything else checked out fine except pop bumper cap. One was broke, so I ordered those, and he could snap them on.
5.3 miles, then turn right.
And when I get to that one, he's up and down the stairs, and when I get to that one, he rehashes the story he tells me every year. He said, you remember, I bought this game originally from a company. I didn't know where to go, so I went on the internet and I bought it from TNT. He said it was a terrible experience because he said I got the game, they brought it, it broke, they tried to fix it, they took it back once and it came back again, and he said I just don't want it anymore because it just don't work and it's just a trashy looking game. Because he got to look it over, I guess, as he owned it for a couple of weeks, and he didn't want them people in and out of his house.
Turn right.
So finally he bought a game from, he made him take the game back, and I guess, I know Todd probably remembers the guy, but because he gave him an earful.
Yeah, talk about that discussion. I was hearing I was hearing some interesting words last night about, and you were talking about what the line of people discouraged and disappointed and pissed off customers they might have.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Well, we're here. That was not nearly as interesting as what you told me last night, because you were.
It was fresher in my mind.
You were dropping some F-bombs.
That's what he told me.
Yeah, he was dropping F-bombs. That effing guy in Southampton, effing junk, effing piece of shit.
Well, he wouldn't take it back.
Wouldn't take his game back. Couldn't fix it. His guy's showing up at my house. Wouldn't fix it. Couldn't fix it. Effing junk, garbage. F this, that, and the other about that other guy. Is that how the conversation went, Ray?
About that.
You're a trustworthy guy. I'm believing what you're saying.
No, I'm just telling you what he told me. And he tells me the thing every year.
It's fresh in his mind.
Every time
like
I come to the
it's fresh in his mind like it was yesterday, and here it was 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
4 or 5 years ago. That was a long time ago. He bought that. He bought Monster Bash. He bought for $4 grand.
Nice.
He bought the Medieval Madness for $4.
Nice.
The Twilight he paid $23 for. That's how long ago this was.
Yeah.
The 8-Ball Deluxe, I don't think he paid $14.
Okay.
It has an Altec in it. He tuned it up over the years. He had me put a brand new plastic set, and I did this all in the field, all new star posts. Just because he was at the show and he bought a bunch of stuff to put on. He was just playing with stuff.
Nice.
They like, people like that like to add on stuff, so he added on all this stuff. But he always tells me the story. I'm thinking, oh.
Here it comes again.
Here it is.
And the moral of the story is?
The moral of the story is?
Yeah, sum up the whole story in 2 words.
It's just another...
That's more than 2 words.
Yeah, it's just another story. Here's Paul.
Sum it up in 2 words. I'll give them to you if you can't figure it out.
TNT's junk?
That was it. I was looking for TNT sucks, but that's close enough. All right, we're here. We're buying a couple games today, so
I can't help it. I get reminded, and I don't provoke it. It's just every time I run into that
which is 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's like, wow. I mean,
they really are that bad.
They still do that?
Okay, well that's the end of this one, Ray. Bye, everybody. All right, Ray. I'm just adding a little ending on this because we kind of closed this off quickly when we arrived at the well, our first stop. So news to everybody: we got 2 incoming pins today. We got a Bally Corvette and a checkpoint. I guess that's the 3rd of each of those for us. Pretty pleased with them. They look like they're fairly nice, Ray.
Yes, they are.
Happy about that.
Very nice.
Very
nice examples.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, pretty nice pins. So, but of course, you know, we didn't go ripping into them yet, so we'll find some stuff with them. But hope to have them done in a reasonable time frame. And I guess the other reason I'm putting an ending on this is, well, after we picked up the pins, we went on a service call here locally.
On the way back.
And
I shouldn't have done it. I should have left it for next week.
Yeah, well, but that's okay.
I got too much going on next week. It's already booked.
Ray, we're always booked. But we were pretty much driving right by this, so it was practical, Ray. And we got in there as a new customer. Never saw the pins before, but it brought to our attention, Ray. As much as I pick on TNT, they aren't the worst.
No.
They aren't the worst locally. There's one that's worse.
Yep. And we have a couple examples.
Oh yeah, we know this one well. There's one that's worse. The guy's name is Mike. He is no relation to this Mike that's speaking. The corporation is called Pen Vending. They suck.
Is Pen Home Sales the same thing?
Or no, I think it's called Pen. It might be Pen Home Sales.
Yeah, he changed his name.
Yeah, he changed his name on account of the reputation he built quickly. And we've had several run-ins with his machines. Thankfully, he doesn't sell very many. Last I ran into him, he was operating out of Betson there in King of Prussia, like a vulture. Wow.
He should do something else for a living.
Yeah, he should. Yeah. Well, what was the number one most repeated things that these folks we just stopped in said about the people that they bought these 3 pins from?
Yeah, they didn't want to fix them. They didn't want to come back.
Well, beyond that, they didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah, okay. They said that a couple times.
Yeah, and those guys had no idea what they were doing.
Yeah, the lady even noticed it. I guess the guy was probably looking at his shoes or something.
Yeah, that was brutal.
I don't know what's...
I mean, the pins weren't in terrible condition or anything like that, Ray. But for a retail, you know, he told us what he paid for them, and I shook my head. I mean, he paid full retail for this stuff. Judge Dredd with a topper missing, a shadow that was cosmetically in pretty decent shape, and a Revenge from Mars that looked like it got dropped down the steps.
It did.
Yeah.
She said it did sort of hit the wall.
I mean, paid, you know, he paid what I would have sold him for, you know, realistically, same price as I would have sold him for.
Yes.
Difference being, you know, ours would have come with LEDs, and it would have had
nicer work quality.
It would have had, you know, switches that report, you know, at least half of them. It would have had all new flipper components instead of literally the wrong flipper components.
You know,
yeah.
These people like these 2 you mentioned, these companies ought to be ashamed, in my opinion. They ought to really be ashamed at what they're doing. And people won't repeat with them. I'm surprised they're both not running out of customers already. I really am, because you can't keep doing this. And
yeah.
I get objections. I get physical
anger,
dismay from people. The guy with the Monte Carlo that bought it from TNT years ago, he wanted to grab the guy. I said, dude, it's only a machine. I said, there's no reason. But I figured I got ripped off back in, and
yeah, he did.
And then the work you've done is more than what I even got back then, and I paid more than I did. And I'm thinking, okay, I'll stand back. You just keep going if that relieves you. And then the guy yesterday at Allentown's a day later, and I'm thinking, what in the world is all this? These people are taking it out on me. And they're just using me as a soundboard. Well,
Yeah, well, here's the third one in a row, and it wasn't TNT. It was Pen Bending, Pen Home Sales, whoever.
Yeah, well, we
whoever
never
they
mentioned who else he took advantage of. And
yeah,
that wasn't a very good movie.
Yeah, our first medieval the playfield swap we were just talking about was a machine.
The price he paid for that.
Oh, he paid.
That was a crime.
Upper end, and the thing was a junk from top to bottom.
Yeah, well, if the public tunes into these things,
yeah,
before they buy or just for reference, they should know that this is for real. I don't color or add anything to this stuff that I'm saying. I run into these people when I go out every time. The other guy in Philly on Morden Road with the Terminator 2, another TNT horror story.
Oh yeah.
He's 5 minutes from him. They were so afraid not to go back. They didn't want to come back. Told him no, we can't come back. After they went there once.
What was that machine? I think we delivered a machine and bought a machine from a guy, and he was telling us the story of the black.
He was in the same street.
He was on the same street, and TNT was out there. Like he said, they were out there 5 or 6 times and couldn't get his Black Knight. I think it was a Black Knight.
Yeah,
couldn't get his Black Knight to work, and he finally told him to shove it up there, behind.
Yep.
Get your machine and your guys away from my house.
I had several pins, and he had a shuffleboard.
Yeah, I forget what we got there, but yeah, he had a really long shuffleboard.
Yeah. 22 footer. That was a while ago, Mike.
Yeah, it was. No, it's just
nice guy.
Recurring theme.
We stopped in there. That was night in the winter, man. That was.
Yeah, I forget what we took him. He bought something from us. Yeah. You remember the story of Jim was looking for, this was before Jim got the Monster Bash from us, Jimmy. He was looking for a Monster Bash, and he thought he found one at a relatively decent price. You remember this one, Ray?
Yeah.
And I said, whoa, wait a minute. We know this guy because we had a customer that bought a medieval from him, and it was a disaster train wreck piece of shit.
He still wanted to go look.
So he wanted to go look, and I said, well, you know what, Jim, let me do you a favor. I'll go with you. And what happened? What happened, Ray?
Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered if you would have went or not. Even Jim recognized the thing as being a high-priced
piece of shit
ripoff.
Yeah, it didn't work. It went to play a test game on it. Didn't work. I think the start button and the launch button were actually reversed.
Didn't the guy pull the board out, try to fix it while you guys were there?
You know, he tried to put in another board, and it didn't work either.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and whoever put the decals on the machine didn't know what the hell they were doing either, because they were all
falling off.
Yeah. I think Jim said it looked like they put them on with a.
And the nerve to ask that kind of money?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Wasn't it like $6 grand or?
No, it was 8. It was 70. It was $7,800.
$7,800.
And it was a piece of trash. Yeah.
They ought to be embarrassed. Please find something else to do, man. Pretty soon they will be, all of them,
gone.
Practice this type of business. These people are going to go out of business. They will not have a customer market. Nobody's going to be taken advantage of over and over like that. Yeah, I don't understand it. They gotta do something good once in a while, Mike, or they wouldn't still be.
Well, you know, I think that what happens is occasionally they accidentally buy something nice.
And it's less.
It's already nice. They don't actually do anything to it. It's just already nice.
Yeah, there's. Okay.
So yeah, I mean that's when something actually good happens. But it doesn't usually happen because you know where they get their machines. You know, Jamie's having an auction today, and what you get at auctions are junk generally.
Well, there's not even junk left in this market because the stuff hasn't been made new and is still being recirculated over and over and over again. So there's age problems, there's use problems, there's handling and delivery problems. The stuff that's left, there isn't any. In fact, every year that goes by, there's more and more placed in people's homes. And yeah, they buy and sell and trade maybe, but not a lot anymore. Not to feed a company with machines anymore.
No.
No. It's one of the problems Joe had, and I know Joe outsold TNT at least 3 to 1.
Yeah.
Because I was affiliated with that operation for 8 or 9 years, and I ran into TNT back then, and he didn't sell anything near what Joe sold at all. Zero compared to Joe's sales. Same type of operation, but he had a much larger.
And Joe ran into the same problem. Ran out of inventory.
Stuff left was important.
Ray, we have the same problem. I have problem having inventory.
Anybody would, Mike. It's just the imports that are left. If there isn't even. Remember when you used to get email? I used to get emails at least several times a year on, we got a container coming in, or you're interested in buying. You don't see that anymore. That disappeared 2 years ago.
I actually get that email, Ray. I get it every 2 months.
There's none left, Mike. I don't know what they're reselling that's coming back from Europe. But
whatever it is, it ain't good.
Well, there's none left. A container of pinballs is probably 100 or 200 machines. Well, there's none left. They can export tens of thousands. The only ones left over there might be Gottlieb, because Steve Young said that there were a lot of Gottliebs sent overseas, more than one stayed here.
Well, you should see the prices on them too, Ray. Because of course the conversion's not good. The prices are in euros. And
there's this one guy in New Jersey, Sandy was his name. He used to send me auction or bids to come buy container stuff all the time. I don't get them anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think he's around anymore, to tell you the truth.
Well, they are available. I get the email from a company in, I think it's in Italy. But the prices are like, wow, I can't believe how high that is.
These were,
and this is to buy something that you don't even get to put your hand, you know it's a train wreck.
These companies I got were based on the East Coast near the container ports. One was Baltimore, I used to get one from there, and Sandy was the guy in New Jersey at the seaport down there. But these were on the East Coast, these were right off the ship, container sales, not selling from over there. These came over here. I don't see that anymore. Joe used to bid on a container by description of title, not any to do with what it was in it.
Right.
Quality.
Sure.
Just it.
Title, yeah.
Yeah, and he used to he bought 1 or 2 containers, and then he would go down to Baltimore and pick them all up on the truck. Usually you could make, well, I used to have Wolfie make two trips, maybe 3, and he would buy 100, 150 out of a container.
Right.
And Joe had a 24-foot box truck, I think, or maybe a 28. But to see the quality of the stuff back then, it was even kind of marginal. But Joe stopped buying stuff that way.
Yeah, because it kept getting worse and worse and worse, and now it's like I wouldn't even want that for free.
150, and you might make 50 out of it, maybe, or 70. Half is what you could.
Okay. Well, Ray, 2 minutes left on the camera, and you're about to drop me off. We're done for the day.
Yeah.
Just quickly, where our inventory comes from is from your service customer base. So, you know, we're not running to auctions.
I mean, it's not a high quality, or not high quantity, I should say.
Right.
Not quality. It's not a high quantity because these people keep their machines. It's very. How many did we get this way over the last year? Maybe 10, 15.
Yeah. Well, you know, TNT does outsell us 10-1, and I'm happy with that. Okay. Well. You know, I don't know what, I still don't have a title for this video, Ray, but say goodbye to everybody, and we'll see them Friday, Sunday, Sunday and Friday.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, thanks everybody.
Hi, we hope you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Want to know what's coming next? Go like us on Facebook right now. You can keep up to date with all of us here at the shop and what we've been up to. Thank you for watching.